What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from all of the different comic book companies. Today, we are going to jump back over to Ultimate Marvel's universe, where we pick up with the Ultimate Hawkeye mini-series. And this is the book that explains where Hawkeye was doing in Seer in the beginning of Jonathan Hickman's run on the Ultimates. He was looking for a way to put Hawkeye in the spotlight finally in this universe. So this was the book, and it wasn't what Hawkeye deserves. But hey, if you like today's comic book video, please leave me a like down below. And also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, let me know in the comments below. Your suggestion could be a future video down the road, but I do hope you enjoy today's video. Now, this book picks up in the middle of our first Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate video, where we see Hawkeye arriving at Seer, which is also known as Southeast Asian Republic. This was a country that was recently formed, and S.H.I.E.L.D. has a Triskelion in that country. Now, the reason why Hawkeye is here is because S.H.I.E.L.D. got word that Seer was being attacked by a rogue group. Their goal is to figure out who is this rogue group and stop it. Before he got there, S.H.I.E.L.D. was told that this rogue group only controls a small area of the country. But in reality, this rogue group has taken over the country completely. And so Nick Fury tells Hawkeye to go ahead with the mission and help out taking down this rogue group. But before they can finish talking, that is when the Seer Triskelion gets attacked. This is where we get our first look at the metahumans in this country, which is really the rogue group that is attacking the government, where of course these metahumans are going to play a big role in this story. But they are here to tell Hawkeye and the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D. they need to leave. But before we can see more of that fight, we actually have to jump back 1 month before the present day, where we see these scientists talking to the Chancellor of Bangkok. And we see here that these two scientists have a two-step plan to help make Seer a powerful country. Starting with making a virus that will get rid of the mutants, because America and other countries have a high amount of mutants. Seer is behind in the genetic race. And so they made an airborne virus that will go around the world and cure the X gene in people to stop the growth of the mutant race. The second part of their plan was to grow their own form of metahumans, which leads into the serum. What a catchy name that is. But basically, it is Seer making their own version of mutants. Because remember, in this universe, mutants were a man-made creation. So now the goal of these two scientists to help their country is to cure the mutant problem and basically make their own superhumans. Except for these group of people, we see that they do gain a high level of power when their powers begin to manifest. We see that from one of their test subjects, but they kill him off before he is able to do anything. But getting back to the present day, we get to see our boy Hawkeye, well, being Hawkeye really. Meaning that we see him take on the three metahumans that attack the Seer Triskelion. Remember that Hawkeye does not miss. This man will make sure he hits his targets. So one by one, we watch this man take down the three metahumans who attack the S.H.I.E.L.D. Triskelion. After the fight, you have Hawkeye call up Nick Fury, telling him everything he knows about this serum that was made here in Seer. The whole thing about getting rid of the mutant race, because it would power up the US and making their own metahumans. This also breaks the treaty that US and Seer had with each other. And so you have Nick Fury tell Hawkeye to get a sample of that serum to help them figure out how they're going to handle this new problem. Now we get a few pages of these S.H.I.E.L.D. agents trying to get somewhere safe, but they are attacked by a group of Seer soldiers. So they get in a situation where it seems that they might be killed off, only to be saved by Hawkeye and his group of soldiers at the very last second. What is really big is that Hawkeye sees one of the metahumans that Seer has made here in their country, a little girl being able to walk up to a tank, stop a large amount of bullets being fired at her, then she turns around and blows up the tank. This is just showing how powerful these guys are, that these new metahuman powers fly off the chart. The question is, what can Hawkeye and his soldiers do to stop something like this from getting out of hand? Then we finally learn a little bit more about the origin of Ultimate Hawkeye in this universe, where we see him being interrogated by a random person, but this person tells us that Hawkeye used to be a gold medalist, except he went from that to doing crime. But while explaining that, this man tells us that Hawkeye's body is not normal, where his eyes actually have 4 million rod cells in his eyes, but a normal person only has 1 in 50 million rods in their eyes. Explains why he is so good, but also his eyes can tell him what is real and what is fake. This is when he reveals that there was a fake window in the room, and behind it was Nick Fury, who was thinking about recruiting Hawkeye, and tells him that he is in the program. Getting back to the present day, we pick up with Hawkeye, some of his soldiers, and the 2 scientists trying to get to the lab where the serum was made. Remember, the mission is to get a sample of that serum, except this leads into another problem for Hawkeye and the company, where the scientist tells Hawkeye that it would take years to recreate what they made. All of the tech, notes, and chemicals needed are all gone, and so coming here was pointless. Now, Hawkeye was planning to kill off the scientists since they are basically useless to him now. But that is when you have one of the SHIELD agents come to Hawkeye with another problem. They walk outside to see a group of metahumans using their powers to blow up another building. To Hawkeye, this is getting out of hand and above his pay grade. So their next goal is to find one of their hidden bases they have left in the area and call up Nick Fury for a plan. When they get to their top secret base to call up Nick Fury, he tells Hawkeye about a message that was played across the world, which is a character named Oracle, who is basically one of those metahumans that was made recently. But you have this guy tell the world that he and the metahumans have taken over Seer and are now calling it Tuwan. I know I just butchered that, but forgive me. This is where Nick Fury tells Hawkeye that he is sending help, which is the Ultimate X team, Karen Grant, aka Jean Grey, Liz Allen, aka Firestar, and then Derek Morgan, aka the Guardian. But he is also sending in the Hulk to help out with this new problem. Before we can see the Ultimate X and Hawkeye working together, we actually see another memory where Nick Fury tells Hawkeye about him being a free man. Thanks to Nick Fury, all of Hawkeye's past has been erased. He has given a restart in his life, but also made a captain in SHIELD. So this is Nick Fury giving Hawkeye a new beginning in life with him being on SHIELD now. Now, in the present day, it has been a whole week since Nick Fury has sent the Ultimate X team to help out with the situation, where now the metahumans have made 2 cities that are floating in the air. This is showing how quickly these characters are evolving and being able to change the world. But you have the team decide it is time to move in and get a sample of the serum to bring back to Nick Fury. Now you have most of the team moving into the northern city because that is where it seems the serum could be at. And so you had this team try to sneak in. But part of Hawkeye's plan is to have someone else in the southern city to cause a distraction for him and his main team. Of course, that distraction is no other than the Hulk himself, and we get to see the Hulk wreck the city. I mean, he tries to, because we're going to see that even though they have a Hulk on their side, it does not mean that these guys are going to win so easily. Because we see while the Hulk is wrecking the southern city, you have Hawkeye and the Ultimate X sneaking into the north city, where you have Karen Grant aka Jean Grey say that she has lost connection to the Hulk. But we see Hawkeye and his team continue to go deeper into the cave until they run into some citizens of the northern city, where you have Jean Grey being able to read the mind of the young lady to find out they are no longer calling it the serum, but now it is called the source. Now here comes one of the biggest moments of the book, because you have Hawkeye and his team continue to go deeper into the northern city to find a sample of what is now called the source. Except when they get deeper into the city this time, they enter a room where they are greeted by someone. For now, we cannot see this person, but we do know for one thing that this person is in a room, which shows us that the metahumans who have taken over Seer, well, they show us in Hawkeye that they have a high amount of the source. They were able to reproduce the product to give more people across the world powers. The second biggest moment comes at the end of this third chapter, where we see that Hulk is still in the southern city, but he's getting his butt kicked by the leader of the southern city, where we see the Hulk get depowered back into Bruce Banner. We also get our first appearance of Ultimate Zorn. Something to point out in this universe, you have a Zorn spelled X-O-R-N and another Zorn spelled Z-O-R-N. Twin brothers who were the ones who led the revolution in Seer, where we see that with their powers and being able to have followers, they were able to change their country into two cities we see today. Now, the two cities stand for each of the brothers' theology. For Zorn with an X, he stands for the idea of all enlightening as bright as the sun. For Zorn spelled with a Z, he was more the idea of consuming all men and women. The northern city is led by Zorn with an X, and that city is called the Celestial City. The southern city, led by Zorn with a Z, is called the Internals. Now there is a Zorn in the main Marvel universe, but both of the brothers use the same name really, X-O-R-N. They kept it simple. Now they both had the same powers if I remember correctly, except one brother could heal. The other one I think had telekinesis as well. Could be wrong, but the brothers in this universe are a little bit different from each other. Zorn with an X just has telekinesis and telepathy, while the other one with the Z has the black hole ability. Now the Zorn who is with Hawkeye explains that basically both brothers are recruiting people to their cause. The one with Hawkeye actually has more, but he tells Hawkeye they need to hurry and save the Hulk from his brother, because his brother is not the nice one, meaning that his brother could kill the Hulk, which is true. His brother is not killing off the Hulk. Right now, he's just playing around with the Hulk, with the intentions to kill off the Hulk soon. Luckily for the Hulk, you had the arrival of his team in Hawkeye, where you had the orange Zorn tell the black Zorn that they need to stop and actually try to help advance the world. Of course, the black Zorn says it's a bad idea to bring in people who are not the same meta-human. And so you have the orange Zorn tell Oracle to send out the message to the world, kind of like he did earlier in this video, except this time This is more of him telling the world that if you want to join either the Celestials or the Eternals, you can. The door is open for you now. Now, after doing that, of course, you have some people on the Hawkeye team who will decide to stay behind instead of going back to America. And so you have Karen Grant, aka Jean Grey, decide to stay behind with one of the cities. Now Hulk wants to stay too, but since he killed some people of the Eternals, they tell him no and send him away, which he lands somewhere that apparently he has been there before. But to close on this story, we actually see Hawkeye has returned back to S.H.I.E.L.D., where you have Nick Fury give Hawkeye an update on everything that had happened in our first Jonathan Hickman video. But this is where you have Nick Fury ask Hawkeye if he was able to get a sample of the source, where of course Hawkeye reveals that he does have a sample of the source. Now, to be honest, y'all, when it comes to Ultimate Hawkeye, this book should have been in the main Ultimates series. Like, I'm not saying I hate the book, but I'm not going to say I love the book. To me, it was okay. Because honestly, after going back over this as an adult, I feel like this could have been broken down into 2 single issues in the main Ultimates run, and we would have been okay. Matter of fact, you could have broken it down and made it a backup story in the Ultimates main title. Like, honestly, you could have. Because, yes, this book did set up Ultimate X-Men. It did set up the Ultimates down the road. But at the same time, all that could have been done in literally 16, 20 pages, maybe 32 pages in 3 issues as a backup story in the main Ultimates run. Because after I sat down and read this again, I was kind of like, yeah, it did the bare minimum. It literally did. And honestly, we got pieces of Hawkeye's origin in the series, but like in 8 pages. From 2, 3, and 4, we literally got 8 to 10 pages of Hawkeye's origin. And honestly, it was not even an origin story. It's more kind of like how he joined S.H.I.E.L.D. That is it. And again, I understand it was Hawkeye's time in the Ultimate Marvel Universe to be on the spotlight. But at the same time, though, I felt like a story for him in this universe should have been more grand, more spectacular, where we're all kind of like, yes, this is a good book. We didn't get that in that book, though. Not at all. But anyways, y'all, this is where I'm going to end today's video. So please leave me a like down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. I'll see y'all next time. Later.